when he plays his trumpet, since the way it's manufactured and what the metal it's made of, it actually sounds mellower than my trumpet. So cornet would sound more like Gary's. Go ahead and play a little bit. And the trumpet, it's a little brighter sounding and brassier sounding. So cornet is probably even more so than Gary's.
Yeah, cornet is conical in shape. This is more cylindrical.
So that helps.
Does the cornet have the same range?
Basically,
Yes.
yeah. It's a little different to play, but not much.
Those instruments that are conical have tubing that, for most of the instrument, is gradually getting bigger in diameter. If you look at the tuba, you'll see there's quite a bit of the tuba that is changing in size. As it goes down from the bell, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you get down into the valve section. A conical instrument, while the trombone is definitely not conical. You can see this is all this, pretty much the same until you get up to here when it gets into the bell section. It affects the type of sound, the nuances of the sound. And so the trumpet and the cornet are very similar. It's a little different characteristic in the sounds. Over here.
When you're playing the trombone, how do you know where to stop to make one note?
Well, for the beginning trombone player, that's probably the hardest thing to learn. You have to put it where it needs to go and play the sound, and you can determine, whoever is, your teacher will tell you if it's right, if you're too high or too low, and help you get it right. And then as you play, the more you play, the more you get used to it. And now I don't even think about it. You just throw the slide out and it stops at the right spots.
Larry?
Yes?
One time at Big Band, I saw you kind of warming up, and you were just moving your slide continuously, but you were doing a bunch of notes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Can you demonstrate that? That looks so cool.
One of the things for flexibility, as you know, if the slide goes out, the pitch of the note goes down. But for practice, because trumpet players, tuba players, horn players, all the valve instruments, when they want to change the note, they can just push the valve down, and all of a sudden, the instrument is a new length. Just like that, that's all it takes. But if I want to change the note, I usually have to go somewhere. 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch isn't enough. So you've got to do something with your mouth, with your tongue. You've got to interrupt the airflow while the slide is moving to try to make it sound like you're not moving the slide at all. And what I do for practice to try and get better at that, and you're always trying to get better at it, is an exercise like this. So the more I do it, the more I practice, the more you're trying to make the note go from one note to the next and sound very clean, like you're just pushing a valve down or something, except you're actually moving the slide the whole time. Obviously, I'm not doing a very good job of it right now. So. Okay, yes?
Do the tuba and French horn have mutes like a trumpet?
They do. Well, yes, they do, as a matter of fact. And the tuba one's about as big as the trumpet is. I didn't bring it with me. It's too big.
He has a tuba mute, but he needs another person to help him carry it when he's trying to get to where we're going. Okay, let's see. In the back, in the black room.
Okay. What would happen if you put a mute in the trombone?
Trombones have mutes. I have my mutes over here. I'll show you one. My cup mute looks like this. So it just changes the sound. Again, it's used to make a different sound. Depends on the kind of music you're playing and the kind of feel you're trying to get from your music. Yes?
How come in the French horn you put your hand in the
Yes, we've all been wondering that, Bruce. Why do you do that?
Okay, the French horn evolved from what would be known as a hunting horn
And in the original French horns didn't have valves, and they just played overtones, just like Larry did a bunch of notes on this without moving the slide. And so to change the pitch of the horn, they stuck their hand in, and that was a natural horn with no valves. I can change the pitch like with my fingers or with my hand. And during the time of Mozart wrote 4 horn concertos, 4 natural horn without any valves. And so they got used to the sound of a horn with the musician's hand in the bell, and so they kept using it. Like it sort of mellows out the sound a little bit, changes the pitch a little bit, but you hold your hand in the bell so it doesn't affect the pitch, but it does affect the color of the sound.
So again, it's a way of making the sound a little different that the musician can use for making their performance sound different than everybody else's. Okay, if there are any more, yes?
One more question. If we wanted to hear you again, where would we hear you?
Well,
When are you playing?